I forgot my headphones. Hello again. I don't really need these. Whatever. Welcome to video log number 7. uh, I didn't really do much today. It's really early actually. It's around 3 o'clock over here as of now. So, I tend to be more productive later in the evening. That's just how my mind works. But yeah, I don't know. I felt like doing something early because I started going through more negative thoughts as usual. Mainly pertaining to the hopelessness of being in this volatile world and trying to just find a way of maybe how I can help out a little bit, I guess I shouldn't be thinking about the big picture, but that's where my mind tends to deviate towards. But, when you start thinking like this, you realize how small you are and how insignificant you are in the grand scheme of things. But it is what it is. I tend to have those negative thoughts, and I just need to kind of put myself back into my small world that I'm trying to create for myself. It is hard nowadays, though. And I know a lot of people who think like me, think the same way, and they know that the only way to combat this feeling of insignificance in the world is to create your own small world. And it's a good thing, but it's really hard sometimes. It really is hard to put yourself back into that state. I don't know why, but it is. It's just how my mind tends to deviate, function, I guess. But, it is what it is. It's hard for me to enjoy things and put myself into those things that everybody else is really good at. It's like just actually, that's my issue, is really just putting myself into something and then giving my all. Like everybody else, I observe people always, and I've always wondered how they do it. Really, I really have always wondered how they have somehow just because for you to even do that, you just had to forget about the world that we're embedded in, to really just absorb yourself in that, I guess. And that's really hard for me for some reason. Oh well, I do spend a lot of time thinking, so that's probably the reason why. Less thinking, more doing, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, I mean, I did I did say I was going to start teaching. Well, sort of teaching. I don't know. Just sharing information with people. I wouldn't even call it teaching because it's probably not going to be the standard structure most people would consider to be teaching as, but something. It's a form of information synthesis and presentation. And I'm hoping it'll keep me distracted for a little bit. I got myself a little drawing pad or whatever. I forgot what it was called though. Let me see here. I think it's a Wacom. Yeah, the one by Wacom. It's one of the cheaper versions. I got the small one. I'm hoping the small one will do. It's I think it was like $69 or something, and I also got a protection plan. It was like an extra $12 for the 3-year protection plan. I was like, why not? I mean, this is to think that you could actually have such a piece of technology for $69. Might as well just add another $12 to make sure it lasts for at least 3 years, You never know. I'm clumsy, so I think for somebody like me, I think that would be a good investment. I got myself that. I think I'm going to start making my channel. I think I'm just going to start doing it before I start thinking about it too much. But again, I was looking at my quote-unquote competition for more advanced topics and whatnot, and I realized that there are people out there that are just really good at just focusing. They kind of sometimes I wish I was good at that, being able to detach myself from who I am. These guys, at least when you think about the higher level of abstractions that we teach nowadays, they're really good at detaching themselves from their own self and just becoming an information synthesis and presentation mechanism in the world, which is cool. It's really cool to see that. I don't think I can do that, unfortunately. I like to be attached to my personality to some degree. So maybe it'll be kind of unstructured. I think I need it to be unstructured because I feel like I have to share my I don't know, maybe this sounds selfish, but I like to be in touch with myself even when I'm doing something. Yeah, I don't know. It's fun, I guess. So, yeah. I went through some of my books. Astronomy. The astronomy one is mainly just the history of astronomy, so I kind of, I kind of sort of understand most of it. It goes from like the antiquity era, during the times in which we didn't really have a scientific understanding of, astronomy and the stars and whatnot until I guess the Greeks came in, the Hellenistic period. They talked about Eratosthenes and how, how he found the circumference of the Earth, and the circumference and the diameter. I can understand that just by using trigonometry, but I was a little bit. There was one thing. It was like, I don't think they had clocks really. I mean, they have like little, what do they call them? Like dials, sundials. I think that's what they're called. And I was thinking, is like, how did he know the exact time in which, from one, he was in Alexandria and then he went to Cyrene or something. How did he know that it was afternoon at that time? Did he use I don't know. Like he was looking at the degree change based on that particular moment in time. So he had to have some kind of mechanism to keep track of the time for him to know that it was 12 o'clock in Cyrene, as opposed to maybe he just kind of like counted the moments or something and used a unit of time that, I mean, we already knew that 24 hours was 24 hours because if you look at the sun, at that particular time, it takes about 24 hours to be in that exact state again. So they knew that. They had a feeling of the segregation of time, and I guess he discretized it, and then by discretizing it, he just kept track of that in his head. I don't know. I guess they may have had a clock of some sort that I'm not aware of, but yeah, he had to know the exact time in which to do, at what time exactly to calculate the change in degrees to then get that particular degree change. If you know trigonometry, you can actually it's a right triangle essentially. So you have the degree change, and so you're looking at the opposite side, and then you have the hypotenuse, which is what you're looking for. And I guess I knew trigonometry a little bit. They must have known, which is, I guess, trigonometry is not extremely complicated. It's just like a ratio of sides. So what I'm assuming is that, so they found that degree change by the change of the angle of the sun, and by doing that, they were able to find the hypotenuse through. They probably had. I don't think they understood it as a trigonometry as a science yet, but they had enough data to then kind of understand ratios of sides and whatnot. So the sine function, which is opposite over hypotenuse, of course, and they just had to find the hypotenuse for that. And that's pretty easy. So you just do sine of that angle over the opposite side, and they already found the opposite side by traveling over there, and they just assumed it was a straight line, even though it wasn't, which is why there's an error. And I guess they had to use the tools for understanding the angle of the sun by using a shadow over that. So that difference in angle is just, again, they find that difference of angle just by the shadow, the emission of the shadow. Again, they have the length of that dial, so I don't know what kind of object they had, but again, they must have had a decent understanding of what trigonometry was to come up with those calculations, Eratosthenes at least. And astronomy is interesting, I guess. It goes through Tycho Brahe, and then you have Kepler's understanding of elliptical orbits and whatnot. So they go through all of that fun stuff, and my understanding of most of that is decently well, based off of my understanding of geometry. They had to. They really, the Greeks were just brilliant people. Just absolutely brilliant. I think I need to read more about like the Greeks' works, especially pertaining to science and whatnot. I think they even eventually found they had a approximate idea. No, I'm not sure. I don't think they understood that light was had a finite speed. That was, I think, eventually, was it? I think Benjamin Franklin did some experiments by going like miles and miles away from a light emitting object, and I guess he assumed that they had clocks back then, so they looked at that and it was like, wow, okay, so this was the exact time that in which I caught this and whatever. I don't know. Even that distance seemed like it was infinite speed because it wasn't far enough, and we didn't have precise instruments for us to really use just a few miles away to decipher this speed of light, or to even decipher whether it's finite or not. So that's all interesting stuff. I don't know. I think they also use the phases of, was it Saturn's moons? I think it was like one of Saturn's moons. They use a phase of Saturn's moon to then decipher the speed of light, which is cool. So somebody eventually did that. I think I forgot the name though. I know. I don't think it was Kepler. It wasn't any of those guys. But yeah, there was a guy who did that. Yeah, whatever. So yeah, that's interesting. I also had I kind of looked through my science desk reference, and they have a lot of stuff about measurement and the scientific method and all that, which is cool. All cool stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna look into that more. Probably. I have to look into things in which I can then kind of like synthesize into something that's compact enough for other people to understand. Like, new knowledge nowadays is very difficult to come by. I think there's like a phrase that nothing is really new under the sun. So I forgot who said that. I heard it from a coworker once, and he told me the guy who said that. But yeah, I don't know. But even though there isn't really new information, there are new ways in which we can compact that information. I guess even compacting information makes it more accessible to the masses, and it is basically new information by compactifying it into a new way of seeing it. I guess it's a different way of seeing information. I don't know. Yeah, that's cool, I guess. Another tangent. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. I still have to look for a job. I've been slacking off on that. I didn't go outside today. I guess I could just go on a walk. And as you can see from this lighting, it is pretty much midday. So, yeah. Anyways, I think that is it. I don't really have anything else to talk about. So I'm going to cut it off early, and I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.